They're terrible.
Our phone's full of it.
Did you, when you started CLIQ, did you think about the Facebook model of meeting people, or was it the loneliness epidemic?
I'm going to tell you a quick funny story. So it was called The CLIQ at the beginning.
I saw on the, is it the TikTok account? It's CLIQ, but the handle is The CLIQ.
Yeah. We went for The CLIQ straight away, didn't we?
And even the logo was all like The CLIQ, just because we couldn't get CLIQ at the beginning. I don't know why. We were like going through like a copy, like trademark thing. But you know, in the Facebook, in the social network film, it says that like
it's
yeah,
just in
it's
Timberlake,
drop
isn't it?
JT comes in and he's like, drop the
Yeah.
CLIQ.
Someone did that to us.
Are you serious?
It wasn't just in Timberlake. I wish it was.
It was a guy who was like working with us at the very beginning. He was like in our growth team. He went and started his own startup, doing really well now. But he was just like, why
have you got
drop
that?
And we was like, I was like, oh my god, this is so
why have we
good.
not thought of that before? Like, we just didn't think of it before.
And it was just the film. I went and put the film on, and I was just like, oh my god,
We're in that moment when you're thinking about the film.
Yeah,
that's all the
first thing.
Body experience.
He was just like, what are you laughing at? And he like didn't even realize what he said. And then I was like, this is so good. And we just did everything like that. We're like,
perfect story.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, when people go back to the beginning again, you can go like, it was The CLIQ.
Yeah.
You dropped the dirt.
Yeah, it's a great story. It is.
A million's not cool. A billion. I think with you guys, it's a trillion.
Hopefully.
Let's get a trillion people on the platform.
Hopefully, that would be
Oh,
amazing.
God.
But yeah, when we first started, it was because we wanted to meet people in London.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very simple issue that we were trying to solve. We'd moved to London, we'd been here like 2 years. And because we had a previous business before, which was a beauty tech startup, we had that for 3 years and we sold it. So we had an acquisition. And with that acquisition, moved down to London and we worked with them for a little bit. And whilst we were working with them, obviously you're just so busy, you don't really get a chance to meet people. And then when we did the full acquisition, we're in a place where we literally had nothing to do, which is a great place to be because in your late 20s, there's not many times where you actually get time and money to be able to do whatever you want.
Agreed.
But we had no one to do it with because our friends were in like corporate careers. And I was like, I want to meet female entrepreneurs. You want to meet entrepreneurs. And we're like, it's just so difficult. So it came from a personal problem of downloading every single app we could find, joining every single Facebook group in the world and being like, we're not meeting anyone this way. Why is there not a better way? And then we also realised that we weren't only the ones facing this issue. We realised
and
that
who wants
everyone,
to build like a social network?
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's the
actually.
hardest thing in the world.
But I don't even
to
think we
build.
realised we were building a social networking app at the beginning. When we had the idea, we weren't like, let's create a Facebook. It just started off as this thing and then it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew over time.
I think we just knew communities were
Yeah.
going to be something. We just knew that like this Run Club theme was not going anywhere. That was the start, and we was like, then we just kept hearing about these like supper clubs, and then like book clubs were starting to creep in. And I was like, where can you just go on one platform and find all these communities? And I was like,
Because
wait,
Facebook didn't do a great job of it.
no, it was just too massive. At the beginning, it was great.
Yeah.
Like because groups came later, didn't it? Like groups came later, and
They
that
were
was
amazing.
insane. And then they just went too big.
Now there's just like 300,000 people in like 20s to 30s in London, and it's not a community, it's just an audience. No one's connecting that way. And I think with the community thing, we didn't realise at the beginning that how powerful that is to meet people. So like if you don't know anyone and you turn up to an event but it's a book club and you've read that book, you can walk into that event and talk to anyone because you've got that common interest. And now I think hobbies are becoming really cool. I think it went through a period where going to a book club wasn't really seen as cool. Like you wouldn't post on your Instagram like, I'm going to the book club tonight. Whereas now like hobbies are really cool to have and it's seen as like more of a sexy thing to do something like that. So we noticed all these trends at the same time of like, okay, everyone's really struggling to meet people. There's so many communities popping up, but no of them to exist. Hobbies are really cool. Why is there not an app that's facilitating that other than Facebook groups or Meetup, which are both 25 years old now.
I like the fresh take. I think it's important that it evolves with the time, and groups is probably the millennial thing, and I'm sure CLIQ will apply to that at some point in time as well, right? Not just Gen Z and like the back end of a millennial, like late 30s type person. When you're thinking about building a product to start off with, and what are those first couple of weeks like? First couple of months is getting it off the ground. Does it start as a Facebook group and then turn into something else, or did you just go, right, we're going to build something else to begin?
Straight in
We were
building
just
thing.
like in Bali, and we both like literally had this moment where we were like having this conversation right now. Where it was like, we see
like
the
a
Run
light bulb
Clubs,
moment.
we were just like doing this, and we were just like getting more and more excited. Then we're like, okay, you're really good at brand, I'm good at product. Let's go to 2 different cafes. I'm gonna try and like build like something where like communities, you can meet people. You just come back with like 5 different brand names and logos, and we'll go from there. And then literally within an hour and a half, she just texts me like, I'm coming back with 1 brand. And I was
already found the brand.
I found the brand.
You brought the
And
trademark.
it was the CLIQ.
You brought the.
I did everything. I got the trademark. I saw the domain was there, and I was like, we need to get it. We have to get
Stars
this
align,
name.
just get it.
Because it just felt so right. I don't know. I feel like I just knew I had this deep gut feeling. I knew I'd go to Jason. He'd love it. Anyway, there's always that risk that I'd come to you and be like, what have you done? I hate that name. But I just knew. I just had this feeling that everything came together so well. And when we came back and you had all the app screens, I was like, what?
It was too. It was
how
like
can it
too
be this
easy. It felt too easy.
And it felt like fate.
Did you feel that that was a problem to begin with?
Yeah,
Or
because
did you lean into that?
I think for us it was like, it's very sexy. Everyone wants to build a Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, you go to university now, they're all trying to build the next Facebook. I was trying to do exactly the same when I left university. So I was really like, okay, we have something. Let's go and speak to like 10 people we respect and get them to pull it apart. So we sent them like a little deck and was like, this is what we're thinking, rip it apart. And like 8 people just came back and was like, this is really, really good. Like, and then
This was what year? 23?
23.
Yeah.
February 23.
February already, early 23.
Yeah, so we're like in Bali and like send it out, and in a week we just kept like jumping on a couple of calls, and people were like, yeah, this is really cool. And one of our friends owned an app agency business, and he was like, I really, really like this, and I back you to, I'll build you a small prototype. I was like, okay. And then we just went, should we just fly home now? So we like cut obviously we were planning like 7-8 months left in like Bali and Asia.
Just scrap that, move back to the UK.
Yeah, we just went, should we just ditch this? And we were like, we were thinking about, we just had some shares out. We had all this free time and we were so excited to be there and be free. And as soon as we had an idea that we knew we had something, it was like, let's stop the holiday. I get goosebumps now just saying that.
It's crazy because we could have easily been like, no, let's just travel for 6 months and then do something after. But CLIQ wouldn't be around if we did that. Because the only reason CLIQ is around today is because we made that decision to be like, no, let's cut the holiday short.
Back tail of COVID, you had people starting to come out again, and then all of those news articles around the loneliness epidemic. I remember reading that, and that's why we jumped on a call in 2023, right? And it almost felt like the perfect moment, you would call it, that someone had to go and build something.
Yeah.
And it was right place, right time, right moment in the world. Do you think that if it had started in Europe or in Bali, that you'd built it there, that it would have worked the same way?
I think we need to be around people. I think what we've learned from business, it's who you surround yourself with. And with the first business, we didn't have that because we're from Nottingham. We came back from, it's a very similar story. We came back from traveling with a business. We were very young, like 22, 23. Came back to our hometown, had this business. None of our friends had businesses. Our parents just didn't understand what we were doing. We didn't know anyone. And we built that from the ground up. And it was so tough. So this time we're like, we've already built a network. We already know people. We need to lean into that. And also, like, we live in London. We live in one of the best cities in the world to grow a business. Like, we need to be around people. We need to be at events, meeting people, like just seeing how it works in the community space, but also like tapping into all these people that we know. And if we were just in Bali, just me and Jason, then I don't think it would have been as successful as it is now.
You just can't work like that. Like for us we're very obsessive. Like when we get something, we were talking about this yesterday actually. It's like, we both kind of have this like obsession with something. If we have an idea, we have to see it through. Like with this, like a project will come up in CLIQ and we're like, if we think it's something, we have to see it. If it doesn't work, that's okay. But it can't sit on the shelf. We just have to do it. Yeah. So like, it was literally this moment where it was like, is CLIQ going to be something we regret not trying? Or do we just stay on this holiday and we go back and go and do something else? It was like, it just feels right. So we're just like, we have to do it. And then before you knew it, like more people we spoke to, they just wanted to join us and help us for free. And then people trusted us because we've done something before. And then we just realized like we were developing like every single day. The brand was getting better. The messaging was getting better. The tech was getting better. And then we're like, okay, we understand what we're building now. And then it just felt timing is everything in business. Like 2 years from now, there's already someone in the market. That's it. Yeah. CLIQ's hopefully already got it. 2 years before, it's just too, like 2021, I think it was too early.
Yeah, no one would have really understood. No one really wanted it or needed it, I don't think.
Like the sport and wellness now, at one point I thought run clubs would be a fad. I thought it would go like this, but actually what it's done is it's gone again.
Just keep going up and up and up.
And like now it's like
Acquisition of
sport.
Runner with Strava, right?
Yeah.
It's just they literally bought a community
Yeah.
of just runners, people who
Yeah.
love running.
It's a cult following, and like the book clubs, the supper clubs, the female founders,
It's not going to be a fad.
It's
Like,
just
gonna be
not.
around to stay, for sure.
it's insane. We're seeing like trends now of like what is now is like food is the next big like trend we're seeing. Like these. It seems like croissants. Like these people go around like trying all different cafes.
Bakery crawls.
Bakery
This
crawls.
really unique insight
Oh my
into
God, yeah.
trends that like social apps see from a people creating content and engagement point of view, but you see people turning up to those places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see what communities are starting, so you'll see a trend of like.
Sometimes things start and I'm like, it's never going to work. And
Which
then
makes
you
sense.
look in a few weeks and I'm like, oh my God, they've got
And you see
hundreds and hundreds of members and they're doing all these really cool events. But like, it
Then
can
you'll
be
see
so
it happening in
niche.
Australia
Yeah.
and then Bali, and then you'll see like, wait, why is like this trend happening? It's like they're all talking. It's just weird. We just see it like rise.
You just see it all happen.
And then you see the next wave. So we see that like dinners, supper clubs is like the next big wave.
It's coming back.
It's coming. Yeah. It's like it feels like it's already back.
I think the run clubs were like the in. So I think like the wellness space was like a bit of an in for this community thing. And I feel like if you've tried out a run club, it's probably one of the hardest things you can do as a community. Like you've got to be physically fit in a way, and you're also going to have to chat to people afterwards and during when you're all sweaty. That's one of the hardest things to do. It's much harder than going to a dinner or going to something else. I feel like run clubs has opened up this massive thing for so many different communities, and now people feel like they can branch out into different things.
Do you feel like you're redefining what a community means?
Yeah, I think so.
And actually, instead of it just being a word that people use, you actually have a definition of what a community looks like.
Oh yeah, the amount of people that I see, and it's like, I have a community and it's Instagram followers.
Right.
It's not really a community. Like, what are you doing with that community? Is there an in-person element? Is there an online element? Are you providing value to them? Or is it just an audience? I think for us, we've really figured out what makes a good community, what helps communities, and how we can use that knowledge to also help other people build communities.
I think there's one thing, like when we was at Glastonbury, we was talking about this, like you can see a difference between like an audience and a community following. So like Taylor Swift created a community because the community connect with each other, like with the bracelets, through those kind of things. Like, have you seen that?
Yeah.
And then there's like, if you can get your community to connect with each other, that's a community. Not audience is just one way.
You're shouting.
Yeah.
Communities talking to each other.
And you see that with artists, like you can see the ones that have created
cool
this
followings.
community, and like the fans there are all just like,
Charlie XCX, she was on Saturday night. The amount of people wearing green and wearing Brat t-shirts and flags was insane.
and it was just like
It's crazy.
people just go up to people and be like, hey, like they knew each other
it's like
already.
we know each other because you're wearing the same t-shirt. And it's like building a community, and it's building that cult following of something, no matter what it is. You feel like you can speak to someone because you've got that common interest.
I like it. Audiences, you shout one way. Communities, you talk together.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you mentioned talking about understand how to help communities, how to help them build each other, right? Like, what does that specifically entail? So if we're sitting here and someone's listening to this and thinking about, okay, I have a run club, I have a croissant club, croissant train club, and we go around reviewing croissants in London. Like,
It's a great community.
best job ever, right? What do they need to understand about letting people talk to each other and facilitating conversation that they wouldn't typically know going into it?
I think at the beginning it does require a lot of effort from the community leader or ambassadors if you've got them. I think the common misconception that people have is you create a group and people join it and it just pops off. But I think at the beginning you really have to set the tone. So you need to be creating really cool events, experiences. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to do like a full-on ticketed event in a venue. You can go on a bakery crawl, whatever it is, getting people together, content, showing the content from the events so people can see what the event's like before they go. So to get people to come to the first event is very difficult because no one has any perception of it. And then after that, it's about keeping the community engaged, which is why I think like ticketing platforms are just missing a massive thing here. Like they're not building communities, whereas for us...
Ticketmaster Oasis one, right? Something like that, where the platform breaks and then you've got the resale market and it's a gigantic audience, but also... I remember talking to my dad about it in the car, and I'm like, you know Oasis? He's like, yeah, of course I know Oasis. And definitely there's a community element missing
Yeah.
there, or some sort of activation missing there.
Exactly, because with stuff like that, say you buy a ticket for an event tonight on a ticketing platform, you don't know who's going, you don't know who's going to be there, you don't know how many people are going to be there. You could literally be in person turning up, you don't really know. Then you go to that event, you forget to get someone's number, whatever it is. Afterwards, it's done. You don't have any contact with that community. Whereas with CLIQ, it's like you've got your group chats, you've got everything on there to keep that community engaged. So after the event, we're always like, make sure you put your photos from the event in the chat, make sure you keep people engaged, get people chatting, get people talking afterwards. So you're creating something in between when the next event drops. There's nothing worse than waiting for event to drop, and not really having anything in between. So I think the key for community is having something more long lasting than your events. But it does require effort in the beginning. But then we see after like a month or two, people just start chatting on their own because they'll join the
They
group
start
and
chatting on their
see
own in the app, or did they switch over to a WhatsApp group?
in the app.
Really?
Yeah,
You've got to
in
be
the app.
sticky enough that
Yeah.
you stay in the app.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Because
insane.
everything's there. So if you're chatting in the app, you can also see who you're chatting to. You can contact them, so you can direct message people as well. You can see any upcoming events. When an event's live, you get a notification. If post in the newsfeed, you get a notification. So everything's so active within CLIQ. If you've got a WhatsApp group, like you're going off the platform to book a ticket, everything's external.
I think
Whereas with CLIQ, it's
safety, that's
internal.
the biggest thing that, like, when we know the first 500 communities by name, like the people, and they have our numbers and we speak to them quite regularly. And like the number one thing for them was safety. So they'll get a group and like they'll start the run club and it'll be on WhatsApp, and then it'll get to 50 people and it's great. It gets 100 people and it's like, I got 100 people joining this now. They've all got my number. And also now, like, people have got each other's numbers. People haven't got names to their faces. People haven't got pictures. Like we had a sisterhood Muslim group that was on WhatsApp, and she got to 400 people, and like a couple of people got in and just was so horrible to them, and it destroyed the community.
Yeah, no
because
one
no
wanted
one
to be
trusted
part of
that
it.
now.
Right.
So we said to her, it's like, sit with us for like literally 2 hours, come into our office and tell us like what you want to see. So she was like, I would love to set like gender, age, and if they need to be verified to join. So we was like, okay, interesting, let's do that. So we set up gender, so you can choose. If it's female, I won't be able to join. Even if I find the share link, I physically can't get in the group.
Because it's associated with the profile. And
Yeah.
It's all
Got
linked
it.
to profile.
You have to have the image showing your face, so it feels more comfortable, and a real name. So then it just makes people more comfortable. And then she has verified as well, so people have to verify their ID to get in. That is now back up to 600 people, and it is never gone dead. And because now people go in there, and she tells us like a lot of Muslim women don't put their pictures online because of their religion or for safety reasons, but they all do it there because they feel safe. That's real community, and like they never had a space like that. So that's like our big thing is like, how do you provide real safe spaces? And it's like, if we're connecting people online and offline, you should be having your face and name on there. You just should. And we've reduced hate by like 98%.
Oh yeah, it's very, very rare
98%.
something happens.
That's insane.
Like before, we didn't have like the safety features. We didn't have this. There was a lot of people saying things in random groups because they didn't have their name or their picture. As soon as we made it like, you know what, we're going to do
compulsory.
this, it dropped like to 98%. Everything was like, oh, like now people know they can get pulled for their stuff.
So if you know it's your face and your name on it, why would you be horrible?
They're just
I
not.
agree.
You wouldn't.
And also the community just police it themselves. So let's say a message gets flagged 3 times. If it misses our system, it gets flagged 3 times. It just goes completely. If someone flags a profile 3 times, it goes from their group. So like the community are policing their own social networking app. We're really like doing the top
We're
level.
just building you the infrastructure to allow you to do that.
They're policing it, which is real community. It's like bringing, like if you're outside and you meet someone, you don't like them, you just move away. Like, and that's what real community is. What social networks have done is like try to tell us that with this one, everyone's the same. Like we're not really the same. Everyone has their like niches, what they're interested in, who they want to speak to, who they don't. Like that's real community. So yeah, safety is at the forefront of like a lot of this for us.
Definitely.
We touched on, when we were having our conversation off camera, around creators becoming community leaders, or the importance of creators becoming community leaders, and how that transition is changing on the platform, right? Talk to me about that a little. Because you mentioned that it's something that a lot of people don't understand of, like, as a creator, we're going to transition into creator leaders or creator communities. Are you seeing that play out a lot more?
Yeah, I think big one is I'll speak on the creators and you can speak out the brands are seeing them as well. So I think for us is let's use like one is like James Warnock, an influencer, 300,000 followers. He is a brand in himself. Mm-hmm. Now him and his partner have created this run club called PB and Jam. It's like they sell £5 tickets, 200 people go there.
So £5 tickets to a run club.
Yeah.
And 200
people turn up.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Like
It's
and
crazy.
And they can't sell enough tickets. But this is now a brand outside of them,
Right.
which they don't even need to be there now because they've created
it. Runs itself.
It runs itself. So they've now created this because the community knows who goes there, and there is a certain group of people there. They have like two groups. One runs at maybe like.
It's quite quick, actually. We went to one and we couldn't keep up.
It was fast. These guys are fast. These guys and girls are fast.
Very fast.
And then there's like they do like a second group, which is still
pretty fast. I think we were at the back. The second one.
Hold on, guys.
But they've created this like community now where everyone looks incredible. Like I mean, even like you're going down like I need to get some trainers like that. Like they just create this community. They look great. They've created this now where they don't need to be there because the community knows who's going to be there. So it sells itself. They're creating things that outlast them because influencers are not stupid. They know that there's lifespans to who they are. The new generation come through. It's very hard to keep your community engaged for as you grow and they grow. So they're looking to like essentially create brands on the end of that, which I think that then becomes like merch. Does it then become like podcasts? Once you have this community, you can then monetize it. I think that's the way they're going. They're all thinking about, like, is it a podcast? Is it retreats? Is it just doing in real life events? Is it even like online courses now? James is a qualified PT as well, who helps. So like now he has 400-500 runners coming every single week. If they're thinking like they want to get up their speed,
constantly turning up, may want like extras.
Yeah, it's just literally like he owns his own cycle. Like, oh yeah, I've opened up 5 more spots. 5 more spots, 400 people that absolutely love him. Like, he's got his own like sales pipe. Like, it's just that influencers are so smart.
Yeah,
like
I think people don't give them credit. Influencers and creators, right? I think
so
we blend the names a lot now.
Yeah,
right? I'm never sure which one is which anymore because I just call them all creators. Right. And then the creator has sort of moved up the stack as you look at the Love Islands and the people that come off that and then are a new version of celebrity. I definitely know. I think we all know that they're businesses in their own right. Once you get past a certain amount, and like, you don't have to have a like huge audience online. You can have 50,000 people that are just hyper engaged by everything.
Yeah,
and just turn up and like I know we were talking about how you facilitate the monetization of their communities on the platform, and it's such a great SaaS play that you're building as well off the back of that they can go and build their own potentially software down the line. They can go and build their own retreats there, their own products, and then sell that through.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you like one community called She Strides, and this is just like a let's say like a normal girl from Surrey.
The Surrey one. Oh my god! Please.
Yeah, just insane. Like I think it was 2 years ago. She did 5 people turned up to her run. 2 weeks later it was 200. Then it was like literally like 600 people a week turning up. Then she was like, you know what? I need to like start. She wasn't even a runner. She was just like had a baby and she just wanted to get out, meet people. And it was like women turning up being like, oh my god, this is like, I've never been so fit. I'm meeting so many people. This is the only interaction I have every week. She was like, I'm just going to start charging £2. So she starts doing that. And she's like, I'm making like £700-800 a week profit. Like, and she's like, I'm going to open up another location. 4 locations now.
She's almost franchised.
Yeah.
And it's smart because it's in
Is there like She
areas
Strides? She Cycles?
Yeah.
There's like, she's
but it's
like
outside of London, which is the smartest thing because in London you go to a run club any single night. There's so much.
Hackney,
she's the only female run club in the whole of Surrey, so she's got like Farnborough, Maidenhead, all the different locations, and also they're more like affluent areas.
Yes.
So they're women that have disposable income to spend, so they're happy to pay for the wellness event that she does, or like go for coffees afterwards, all of that kind of thing. Yeah.
And now she's branched out.
Yeah. Now she's changed to subscription, so the subscription is I think it's like $12.99 a month.
And this is in-app.
Yeah, in-app, all in CLIQ.
$12.99 a month.
free runs, and then she'll also have extra events on the side as well.
Nuts this is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So she's-
What's it up to? 2,000 people now?
No, so I think she's got about nearly 500 people
Yeah.
now. So she swapped it. So she has like a free one, but in the subscription she has. Yeah, so she's making like
So
nearly
she does
6K
the free
a
one
month.
where you can pay £2 if you want to just try out a run, but then if you want to get unlimited runs, you pay $12.99.
Incredible.
So
and
smart.
it's growing like
So fast.
so. I think she'll get 1,000 members by the end of
Do
the
you
year.
facilitate? Do you help her build that community and sort of explain to her how the is it an algorithm or is it?
We probably just show them the
Logic.
process of like how this looks. So we show them like really there's a playbook that we give people, and we say to them like, look, your first event, if you get 5 people there, it's incredible. Like that is the
don't
playbook.
like
Five
get
people in the
disheartened.
shop front.
Yeah, that is it. That's what you want. And then you tell them like, this is how it's gonna go. You just need to be consistent. And then once you can prove people are willing to pay like £2, so most of the events are all under £5. But what they realize is if they're doing a walk and a coffee in the park and 100 people give them £2, like at least they made £200.
Yeah.
And then
And
just
£2,
just
like
on a
nothing.
Saturday.
Yeah.
and then there's like, and then we're like, if you can prove you have a community, like, let's try and make this a business. She is now, which is very scary, quitting her job to like become a CLIQ community creator. Like, really?
Yeah.
Does
It's
it
like
have a name yet? Are we still working on it?
I think we need to work on one.
Yeah.
But there's someone else who's like thinking about like quitting their job to like do CLIQ full time, just because they're making like money
That
now
much
from
money
it.
from it, and it makes sense. And then you can start scaling it. It's like Tanvi's got South Asian Social, and she already has influence, which helped. But she's built it in such a way that she doesn't need to be at any of the events or organise anything. She's got ambassadors in different cities that do it for her.
Wonderful.
And she's obviously a full-time content creator,
Yep.
but she has all this audience of South Asian women
That
that
wants to
follow
go in
her,
person.
but she didn't have a place for them to exist. So now it's like, okay, people follow me, they've got a place to exist. And then also the byproduct of that is people join the community, maybe they don't even know about Tanvi, and then they're taken back to Tanvi. So it's just like a massive
I think what we
circle.
say, like, how amazing would it be is that if you have thousands and thousands of these CLIQ communities all over the world that are giving back. So you have like South Asian, you have run clubs, you have bakery run, whatever it is, all these connecting people, and also the founders of these groups are making like 2-3K a month. Like, what does that do for the world?
Yeah.
Like, that changes our world.
Yeah.
Like, instead of this scrolling, you're gonna walk through Hyde Park and be like, it's like 12 groups of people just like at the weekend just meeting. That is like, that's what we're doing.
You're
it for.
single-handedly getting people out.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
It's not just, we're building SaaS software. It's, we are giving back to
Yeah.
the economy.
Yeah.
And then you're also allowing anyone to create their own business.
This is the crazy bit.
Yeah. So like anyone, you can create a community on CLIQ and you can monetize it. And yeah, it takes a lot of effort to get to the point where you can make 2-3K a month, but it's possible, and it can be anyone, which I think is such a amazing thing to be. And I think that's something we learned with the first business. With the first business, it was giving these makeup artists, nail techs, hair professionals an extra income, but we also gave them a community to be part of. So we very much took what we learned from the first business and put it into that. Yeah, exactly. You can make people money, but you can also make them really happy and make them be part of something at the same time.
Nicola, you're a mastermind in marketing. Right? And it would be a disservice to everyone listening if we didn't talk about like the organic growth of CLIQ, the branding around it, and also yourself, right? Can you explain to me how you spent 0 on performance? This thing is all organic, and we could probably go out into the wharf right now, talk to about 4 people, and they would probably know what CLIQ is.
Yeah, probably. The amount of times I go to an event, like I went to an event, it was a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know anyone, and it was the first time I've been to an
Was
event.
it a CLIQ event?
It wasn't, no, but it will be. So it was a supper club, kind of like in the marketing space. And I went, and the first 4 people that I spoke to all had CLIQ on their phone.
Really?
The first one that I spoke to had actually created her own event on CLIQ before. It was crazy, and
Did
I was
they know
like,
who
wow.
you were at the time,
No,
though? Just
no, I had no idea.
very
And they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, on the founder of CLIQ, and they're like, what, this app on my phone? I'm like, yes. It's crazy. It blows my mind. But yeah, on the marketing, so at the beginning, we were like, okay, how do we get a mass amount of users without spending a penny? Because I think so many people at the beginning of building a business, they get investment or whatever it is, and they just blow it all on paid ads when they're not happy with their product. And we were like, okay, we know we need to get the product right first. How do we get users on the app? And we figured out going after communities that already exist on other platforms. So going after these girls run, for example, who were previously using Facebook groups, I think, or WhatsApp, Discord, Slack. speaking to them, getting them to understand CLIQ, getting them to realize like how much they needed CLIQ because their current platforms are so disjointed, everything's everywhere, getting them to move on to CLIQ, and then they bring their users with them. So we have like thousands and thousands of ambassadors of CLIQ without us having to pay them, bringing their users to us because they love the product, they love the team, they love the mission, and also it's been helpful for us to build CLIQ based on them. So in the early stages we were like, come on to CLIQ, but also can we use you as a bit of a guinea pig? So can you help us to build this? Like, tell us what you love, tell us what you hate, what features do you need? And now CLIQ has been built for these community leaders, as opposed to building for us, because we weren't community leaders, we didn't know what people wanted, but now we do because we've spoke to so many of them, and now we're in a really good place that the app is everything a community needs to run everything in one place, but then has so many added extras like monetization, we help them run events, content creation, whatever it is they need, we're there to fall back on, whereas you create a Facebook group, no one's going to speak to you, you probably can't even get hold of support for a few hours, because there's no one really there to help you, whereas for us, we understand the mission and we've also faced the problems that they're facing. So for us it was just at the beginning figuring out how we can do it without spending a penny, and then that has been the strategy that's just worked and worked and worked. So we've just repeated on that, and like moving into different territories and different countries, it's find the biggest creators, find the biggest communities, and find the biggest brands.
Because CLIQ isn't just UK based, it's global now, right?
Yeah, Australia, US, we've got a few in Bali, Barcelona's just started. So yeah, it's just happening organically in these different places, but we only really need like 3 or 4 big communities in each city for it to work, because then you get that network effects. Because what happened in Australia was a girl moved from London to Australia. Right. She knew about CLIQ from using it just for herself. She created something called Solo Travel Club, started using CLIQ for it straight away. We actually didn't even really know that CLIQ could be used in a different country. Like, we hadn't built anything. It just so happens that it did work. Created this group, was creating loads of content, kind of went a little bit viral, got loads and loads of users on the app, and we were like, why have we got a spike in users in Australia? Looked, and it was because of her. But then from that, people started creating their own communities. So someone was like, oh, I want to start a book club. And then also people in Sydney were seeing what she was doing and seeing CLIQ and reaching out to us being like, I've seen Solo Travel Club uses CLIQ, like, can I use CLIQ? How does it work? And then we're like, we might as well capitalize on this and just do loads of outreach to Australia. So it happened really organically, and now it's grown. And I think with social media platforms, you typically need like millions of users in one area for it to work, like dating apps and stuff like that, because you need enough people to connect with. Whereas with CLIQ, if you're part of a book club of 200 people, I don't care about the people that are swimming on the beach because I'm not interested in that. It's not my interest. You only care about your community. So we can build social media in different cities and countries without going for the user drive first. We just go for the community drive first. They drive the users, and then afterwards we'll start paid ads.
They probably build the content around it as
Yeah,
well, right?
exactly.
That you can then repost, and it just organically feeds out.
We get so much user-generated content, so much.
I think you forgot, like, when you were building CLIQ, how you said when we downloaded all the apps, how you said that they were all called like Buddy, Pally, like friendly, or their taglines were all like, we're a loneliness app, or this is how you make like very like they weren't great, were they?
No.
Were the messaging, and you was like, we need to ditch that. Nothing's gonna be like, when you look at Facebook, they weren't creating like, hey, we're gonna make you get friends.
No.
It was like, it was a brand.
Cool. Yep.
And we was like, I want to stick, like, yeah, it's a byproduct. Mental health and loneliness is the byproduct, and that's our mission. But it's not going to be like, that's not, hey, what's this app on your phone, buddy? Like, you're not going to show your friend that.
Yeah.
So we was like, we just want to make it, the brand needs to be something
different.
different.
Did you riff on names for a long time, or did it click?
No, it just clicked. Ironically, just clicked. But yeah, I was looking at all the other apps and I was like, I just wouldn't want to be part of that. Do I want to download that app? No. And we really wanted CLIQ to be for everyone. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you do, you come onto CLIQ and you can find that community you really resonate with. It's not about, I'm lonely, I need a friend, I'm going to swipe on someone and then I'm going to go for a first date, friend date with someone. It can be very awkward. It's all about interest-based communities. Anyone can come on and feel really safe and supported, as opposed to a bit more of a cringy model. And I think that's what's helped us to scale so quickly. When I speak to people, they're like, we love the brand, like, we love the colours, we love the vibe, we love everything, because we feel like we can be part of it and we feel like we're proud
and
to be part of it.
that's also why brands want to connect with us. Because I think
we've got to talk about the brand play as well. Like, when I've worked in the space of brands before, and like in a previous life, and one, they never get in, they never have a one-to-one connection with their audience.
No.
Right? Or people that buy the products, right? And you essentially give them that. you're given an opportunity to be in front, top of share of mind, and win share of mind consistently throughout a week, day, whatever, however often these clubs come together, these communities come together. Was that something that at the start of building it, you knew you wanted to build for, or did that evolve as you came into the UK realize?
We didn't really think about the brands. We were so focused on the users and the communities. And then I think along the way, we noticed a lot of brands creating their own communities. So like Gymshark Run Club was like
they made their own community on the app.
Popping off, absolutely popping off. And for them, it wasn't about come and buy a Gymshark t-shirt. It's come to our run, and the byproduct of that is people are probably going to go in and buy a t-shirt. Because no one wants to turn up to a branded event without wearing the brand, even if it's a pair of socks. Like you feel like you have to. But they were creating an experience, and I was like, wow, there's such a big thing here for brands to build their own communities. So we started off with that, speaking to all these really cool brands and being like, you want to put on in real life events, put it on CLIQ, and just use it as a management tool. And then we soon realized that, I think it was like probably last year, brands now had this community budget. So they were taking money out of influencer and paid and PR and creating this community budget because they knew they needed to get in front of communities, and they knew it looked good for them. They didn't really know how. So we were like positioning ourselves as a marketing tool for these brands. So you come to us, you tell us we want to hit females age 25 to 30, they're interested in running, that are also interested in croissants, whatever it is. We want to target them for this month. We want to get in front of that audience, whether it's with product placement, whether it's content, whether it's in-person events. In the future, it'll be a digital ads model, and we facilitate that for them. We're kind of like an extension of their team, where they just come to us with what they want to hit, and we distribute it. We've already got all the connections. We've already got these relationships with these communities. And then from there, we've had so many brands and agencies reach out to us, because a lot of brands are going to these influencers that have communities and realizing they're all on CLIQ. So they're like, we might as well just come to CLIQ. Like, what's the point in trying to manage all these different ones?
That's how we worked with like Canary Wharf, because they wanted to find like run clubs and wellness communities. They went to like 5.
Yeah, and they realised, oh my God, they're all on CLIQ. What's CLIQ?
So they found out CLIQ, then messaged us and said like, we see loads of communities. How could we work with you? And was like, what are you trying to achieve? And then the more we start speaking to big brands, they're all talking about not exactly shifting from influencers, but it's evolving. It's
like a new wave of influence marketing.
Yeah.
Because as well, community leaders are influence in their own right. I know we spoke about influencers building communities, but like Molly, who runs These Girls Run, These Girls Run has 20,000 followers, which is a decent amount.
I think so.
Her personal is probably like 2,000 or 3,000. She gets flown out to do like runs in like Valencia and gets paid for it by New Balance. And she's like, wow, I'm not an influencer, but she's a person with influence.
It's because she has 17 locations for These Girls Run.
She deeply understands attention.
Yeah. Whereas you could pay, okay, I'm going to get her who's an influencer and she's interested in running. 1% of her audience might like running. Whereas with Molly, she's got 20,000 girls on the social channel that are all interested in running. So why would you follow These Girls Run if you weren't interested in running?
And also we know their purchasing power. Like some of them pay 400 quid for a retreat away with These Girls Run, and she can't sell enough. Like she always sells out, always sells out. And I think now it's about brands connecting with the communities. It just feels more authentic. Yeah. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Instead of connecting with the one person, it's the community element of multiple people, and then one person obviously is someone that they trust leading that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're now, is like we're the home of communities. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to get in front of the run clubs or supper clubs or female founders, you essentially come to CLIQ. And that's where we can, like, you can say, basically in the back end, you'll be like, okay, I want to get in front of this demographic. It will show all the communities, and you basically look at like ads.
Is it just for IRL activations or potentially online ones as well? So if you, I don't know, if you've got a bunch of people wanting to code together, for instance, like just online live stream it on a Zoom together, you can do that on CLIQ as well, and a brand can integrate themselves. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then in the future, what it will be like is brands can sponsor communities and put ads inside the newsfeed on the community page, and then brands will pay us for that placement, and we'll share it with the community leader.
I think like gamifying everything is the biggest thing for us. So when we was looking at how to monetize this app, a lot of it is through ads, and if you want to do something different, you kind of got to like rip the rule book up a bit, and we just didn't want to have like okay, get to 100,000 users, and then we start seeing brands come in, and it just goes, oh, this is it.
Or like you start putting like gambling and gaming ads in, which is so easy to do.
It's like,
and the money must be great for them.
The money is
Yeah.
good. And we was like, do we do this?
It just devalues the platform massively. Like, even I think Instagram platforms now, I'm like, why am I seeing this ad? What have I looked at to make you think that I want to see this ad? Whereas if I'm in These Girls Run and there's an ad for Sweaty Betty, it makes so much sense. We would never be like putting, I don't know, an alcohol brand inside a sober community. Whereas I feel like Instagram platforms and Facebook would do that.
And so it's a better, I was speaking to Cal Freese's partnership manager, Sammy, and YouTubers do it really well with brand integrations, where it doesn't feel as if the video has gone off on a tangent or it's like a hard cut ad. And so it's a similar type of concept to that, but just inside the app.
Yes.
And we was like, how do we kind of like gamify these experiences now? So let's say like L'Oreal came to us and was like, okay, we want to get in front of the South Asian community to launch this new product. Like, we can be like, why don't we set like a gamified action where the community can like play around with this? So if you're sending out products to them, for them to review it, and if they get 10% off, all these kind of things now is not just to scroll it, okay, that's cool. It's like, oh, is this like gamified action? If I do it, I get rewarded, which all like, this is what the brand want. They want to engage with the product, and they also want to understand who their target audience is. So that's like what
it's really interesting because then you can track that. Well, I say track, but you can monitor that. A brand actually understands who is engaged and who isn't, and then you can actively reward that.
Yeah.
And so if you're hyper engaged with a L'Oreal or anything else, any other, but Gymshark, for instance, they have that opportunity to say like, look, we understand that you love us. Like, you are a super user of our products. Like, here's something we're giving back to you in a different way.
I think we were saying is like, what you should be doing with your customers, consumers, is really rewarding them for being part of the journey. So let's say Gymshark are doing 5 product launches. Why not give them to the community, gamify it and say, we're going to pick 3. You pick the 3. And so they go through, they like vote on all of it, and it goes through to production. And then they're like, oh, your product was chosen. They're going to end up buy that because they can then tell their friend, oh, I was part of that. I picked that. Yeah, I picked that. Like, they'll go in the shop and be like, you know what, that's what I picked. And they'll see it in the store and they'll be like, I was part of that journey. I seen it 8 months ago. And you can even like include them like, oh, it's going to go live in 2 weeks. We're going to give you a discount because you were part of it. Like, how fucking great is that? But like, why are brands not doing that? Because they've not had the place to do it.
Build up the fandom beforehand. People who don't know, and the FOMO kicks in.
Like music artists
like,
as well.
Where
like,
do I have to go? I have to be part of this community.
So music artists as well. Like, they have these hundreds of songs that they never use sometimes because they pick the album, which they should, right? But how about if they made them like pick from songs and be like, oh, we're just going to give you secret stuff and like always like exclusive content. But like rewarding,
like Spotify has that exclusiveness inside of the app. You sort of have to like subscribe to that artist, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you've seen the TikTok play, which is like the pre-release, and then everyone starts reposting it. It goes like a step further down the stack of like, choose the song that's coming out on this.
Yeah. So that's like what we're trying to do, because I think that just aligns with like the community as well. So like, you can really like build something engaged. Like, you only need
sink your nails in.
Yeah. And that's like what it's exciting. I feel like, and it's timing. Like, we didn't think about this. Like, how did we know that influencers were like evolving right now? It's just community's budget now is live. Like, in 2023, you ask a brand, do you have community budget? Like, no. 2024, they're like, oh, we're gonna like, we have this really big budget. Like, they just don't know what to do with it. They're actually like coming to us and being like, look, we have this budget, we just literally don't know what platform to use. There isn't a platform. And like, okay, we've built this from all of what you've been saying. This is how you do it.
And also like position ourselves as the expert of community with access to experts in different fields. So no matter who you want and what demographic, we've got an expert somewhere. It's kind of a bit like an influencer agency, but instead of influencers, it's communities.
Yeah. Interesting. Tell me about the female product case. When we chatted about this a while ago, and at first it didn't make sense, and then it made a lot of sense quite quickly, because you deal with the product, but the importance of you, Nicola, looking at it and going, this doesn't work, this doesn't make me feel safe, and building that safety into something that people are using quite literally on a daily basis, chatting. I'm sure Facebook does it in a different way. I'm sure Instagram does it in a different way. Explain the female product case and why it's so important.
Yeah, I think at the beginning we went female heavy because we didn't have enough safety features at the beginning. It was a very basic app when we first started. I think like you can't do everything. There was so many things we need to prioritize. Safety was on there, but we needed to get test users, basically. We need to get people using the app. So we went for all these female communities. And then when I was speaking to them, and I didn't even realize this myself, so many people had had these issues where they created a WhatsApp group and then a man had got in there and they'd accepted them, they didn't know, and then there was horrible pictures, horrible messages being sent in, and then you lose the trust. And I was like, wow, I've never been part of that. I've probably been part of things where it's like you don't know who's going to be at an event, so maybe you feel a bit nervous, like you're at an event and it's mixed gender and a guy comes up to you and he's trying to chat you up and you're like, I didn't come here for this, like I came to meet women, all that kind of thing. And I realised there's so many issues with a lot of the platforms and safety. So as soon as we were speaking to these community leaders and realising these issues, we put safety to the top of the list, didn't we? Because we're like, if we can solve this issue for these people, then it doesn't matter how many men we've got on the app. It can be very much gender split 50-50, because you go into the app, you're going to see different things to me, able to join the same things, and it makes women feel safe. And it's not also just about women, it's about making anyone feel safe. Like we've got LGBTQ plus communities, they feel super safe because they know they're in a community that's one for them, but they know the wrong people is not going to get in and cause abuse and hate and all of these things. So it's all about how do we create these really safe but engaged spaces for people.
We've gone really tight at the beginning.
Prioritise
Yeah,
that.
we did. At the beginning, we didn't. And then we realized how many people had said it to us. So we soon prioritized it straight away. And it's so much easier to implement these security and safety features when you're small as opposed to when you're big. And I think like Instagram could make it so much safer. Like Instagram could turn off all the bots tomorrow. They could turn off all the hate speech and everything. They just don't, because it fuels the fire. And we were like, we don't want to be another one of those platforms that people get sick of and people don't want to be part of. We want people to come on.
What
and
did
feel
you
super
send me
safe.
like a couple of weeks ago? It's called like the dead internet theory. I don't know if you've seen
I
that.
haven't seen this, tell me.
It's so good. I'm gonna have to send it you. It says that I think it's like 78% of the internet stuff that we see now is just driven by bots. So it's not even
Or
real
just dead
humans.
content.
Yeah. So it's just like even the comments you see, like the things made with AI, like all the stuff that's generated now. Like if you see like a hate thread on Reddit, most of that now will be driven by like one person, just like with bots, just crazy filling in the gaps. So we was like, it's so easy for that to like happen on CLIQ. So we was like, let's just really just like focus on safety first.
Yeah.
And you build trust. Like, and a social app I know a social app. One of our very first developers we worked with at CLIQ, he was working on an app that had like Serena Williams on, like really Stephen Fry. It got to like a couple of million users, and it went from a couple of million users to 0 within 2 weeks.
What?
Because Stephen Fry, I think it was Stephen Fry, wasn't it? It was like Nazi signs was on his account. Like it was just like, and then it like someone got in and just started drilling it all, and it just went like, and it went dead. And these like founders were great, and the team was great, but they just didn't prioritize. So like I spoke with like this when we started CLIQ. I asked like people at Bumble, Meta, like, tell me something like that I should do right now that is going to save me everything. He went, I would focus on safety because that was what will like do it. If not, it would just kill your app. Like, and also what you got to watch out for is all the big boys can just like come in at any point and put in a load of bots if they needed to and kill your app with trust. So how do you do that? Because we know that some of the big boys have been playing around on that. We've seen it. So yeah, like safety was just such a big thing for us.
And I think as well, if you look at your social media compared to my social media, just like random DMs from random men, even like not being an influencer. So you can imagine someone of influence, how many unwanted messages, unwanted comments, unwanted likes they get. Whereas with CLIQ, we were like, we need people to be in control of who sees their profile. If we want to be private, it could be private. If I want my personal profile to be seen by women, I can do that. Same with my groups, same with my events. So one, it makes it super safe, but then it's also really personalized to people as well. And that's the whole goal for CLIQ, is like make it super personalized so CLIQ feels like it knows you and builds you such a personalized experience.
We like literally, that was a big thing. Like we sat with my phone, sat with Nicholas, and we were just scrolling through it. And I was like, wow, it's so weird seeing like a female's like phone, like and just like
you don't realize
the social,
Like
and,
watching
like,
someone else's 4D.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like even like the amount of comments you receive, or just like, and you can see why females do get turned off by social media and why they don't have pictures. So when you go into CLIQ, on the sign-up process, we introduced this 2 months ago, you can say what age and gender can message you. So even if I found Nicola's profile, which I can get to it on CLIQ.
So you've built a filter for who can message you.
Yeah, so even if I think there's no message, I can't go on Nicola's
And that's just
thing.
not locked in for the whole of it. It's like a dating app, for example, that you can change over a period of time, but you control it.
Yeah, you control it. Yeah.
Oh,
So you just like change.
Yeah.
You can just like.
Which more platforms should have that? It's like TikTok is just crazy.
It's
like
chaos.
It's chaos.
But it's designed like
I
that.
created a video. We went to Morocco at the beginning of the year, created a video. It was just like things to do in Morocco, whatever. It didn't go viral, but it probably had like, I don't know what is considered as viral, like 50,000 views. The amount of messages I have, I still get messages from men now.
Off the back
like,
of the
hey
video.
lady, when are you in Morocco? Like constantly. And I'm like, that's crazy. That one video that I posted from a holiday in Morocco has managed to give me 200 messages from men.
Yeah.
It's just mad. And I'm like, now I'm doing other kinds of content. That's like not my type of content. That's not my niche. But you still get so much unwanted stuff because TikTok feeds it to a certain demographic. Then you get it. And then if the video's doing well, you keep getting it. It's crazy.
Did you take some of those learnings from those algorithms and those platforms and try and apply them to CLIQ?
Yeah, definitely. I know TikTok's very different because it's content heavy,
Content-driven.
virality. We don't really have that.
We've been
but it is
thinking about it,
learning.
like what people really want, and we've been asking them like, like we're building a new news feed, and it's more of if I'm following you and you go to an event, I can see like because we know each other, and you post like maybe creating like FOMO, but then people was like, oh, we'd love to start posting, and I was like, what would you post? And it was like, oh, I'd love to post like the events and experiences I'm doing, not essentially like I brought new shoes. Like it's not about me, it's about the experiences. And I was like, I wonder if we created like a content feed where it was about,
You could
I went
post
to
on
this
it.
event, I met these people, I tried like paddleboard for the first time. Like it was actually about experiences, which I just wonder where that would go. And do we want to dive into that? Because then are we going away from our mission? But then people are really liking like posting about like going to paddleboard and showing who they met and like, oh, I met this person here, it was great, and I'm going to do it next week. So we're thinking about it, and it's we're playing around with a few like feed posts right now and seeing if some users will like it. But yeah, I suppose what we do is we'll test it with maybe like 200 people, our super users, and be like, just lock it to them. If they start using it and it starts to look good, then we'll open it to more and more, and then we'll release it. But I think it might happen.
Yeah.
I like it. I think there's a lot of like long tail
Yeah.
success that can come out of something like that. There's a huge amount of value, not only from the data play, but then the engagement of an audience who wants to spend time in an app that they're already spending time in and is hyper engaged anyway.
Yeah.
Give it to them, see what happens, and then because it's almost like you have a feed that isn't like your Instagram feed or your For You feed, but it's very specific on experiences.
Yeah.
I think that the world's niching down.
Yeah.
And owning that, we own the experience play, we own the community play, and there's something there in that triangle, isn't there? And you guys know that.
Yeah. So we're playing around with it.
I have to ask, I've been through pretty much each one of yours like online interviews that you've done, right? There's like a hell of a lot of content on YouTube, like a lot. One thing that people don't talk a lot about is the founder relationship between the two of you. Like the relationship of how you guys keep business, play, and then obviously being together throughout that process. I've talked to a couple on the show before, a couple of individuals who are in a similar style of company. What is it like? How the hell do you like build a social media app, one of the hardest things to do, whilst also living together and actually not having arguments 24/7? Like it must be difficult, right?
It is, but we've just known it. We just haven't done anything different.
Yeah.
Like it's not normal. Like we've spent so much time.
But you're trying
together.
to do something that isn't normal.
Yeah.
Exactly. But like we got together at school and then we went traveling together 3 years, and that's 3
we
years
spent
of
like
just
every
us two,
day,
every single day together in a different country. So that really does bond you. And then came back and started our first business together. That was like 3 years, and now into CLIQ. So it's kind of like we've always done something together, whether it was traveling or whether it was working together. And I think like when you get together so young, you either grow together or you grow apart. a lot of people do grow apart just naturally, but I think we're very lucky that we've kind of in a way molded each other into what we want each other to be and what kind of like lifestyle that we want. And I think our end goal is so aligned. I think the problem with a lot of founder relationships or just relationships in general is that the end goal is not aligned. There's different things that you want to do, whatever it is, and that's when relationships or co-founder relationships break down. But I think because we're so aligned, that's why it works.
Is the business and the relationship the same thing at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically just the same thing. We're on the same path.
Yeah, it's very hard to switch between the two. People say like, do you have rules where it's like no work after 7 p.m? I'm like, no.
You're building an app.
Yeah,
You're building an app. It's hard
exactly.
work.
But also it's like, I haven't
that.
got children, and people that do have children probably hate if I say this, but it feels like we've had a baby. And like, do you stop talking about your baby after 7 p.m? No, you don't. It's still there. It's constantly there.
Your baby doesn't go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. My baby doesn't sleep. We need to keep it alive. We need to feed it. Literally, we need to grow it. And then one day it'll go off to school and it'll be its own thing. But at the moment, it's very much a baby that we're looking after. So like, we don't want to switch off. And we'd never go for dinner and like just rant about the day. Do you know what I mean? We'd never talk about the bad things. Like, we would also not talk about work, but if we were talking about work, it's more about the goals, exciting things like what we want to do in the future, where we see it going, and that type of thing that's more inspirational, as opposed to going out for dinner and being like, oh my God, I can't believe he said this to me today. Like, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think there's one is, if I went into a room with 1,000 people and I wanted to pick a co-founder, I would pick Nick. Not even not knowing her, just because like the brand and the marketing's, she's so good.
Just switched on.
Yeah, like I know that so many people have tried to get you to do things for them. Like even in between our first businesses, there's so many consulting jobs she could have taken, and like if everyone comes to you for like brand and marketing advice, like you're just really like naturally great at that.
Phenomenal.
So like we're very like aligned that way, and then I think that for us is we just get on with it. Like we never really like argue, spend too much time on like bad decisions. No. And like we've done something before, we kind of know the pitfalls. Like it wasn't like a crazy successful exit, but we know how like these things go. We know what's going to come up at some point. Like we know there's going to be dark days, we know there's going to be great days, but we just know like how to get through it together. And like there's nothing better than having someone who just like understands like in the dark days, where I don't need to explain to her like how hard today's been. I just don't.
Yeah.
She just knows. And like when it's great, sharing highs is unbelievable when you get shared together. She's just like, you're at dinner and you're just like, how the fuck are we doing this? Like and then there's days like where we're like, what are we doing?
Why are we doing this? Why?
And we just like laugh it off and we're just like, but we choose to do it. And that's the thing. We're like, tomorrow we could stop if we wanted to. Like there's no one holding our gun to our head, and we choose to do it. So like, we can't really moan in that case.
Yeah, true. And I think it's like you can just get stuff done so much easier because like you're in the same room.
Yeah.
Like if you have an idea at like 8 p.m. at night, you don't have to wait till tomorrow to Slack them to make sure they're awake and give them an idea or whatever it is. It's like, what do you think about this? Should we do this? Should we do that? And we just get so much more done because you're always around each other. But then I think we're also both very good at having separate lives, whether it's with friends or whether it's with business. Like in the first business, we did everything together. We'd sit on the same calls, or we'd go to the same meetings together. In a way, we were learning, so we wanted to be part of everything to learn. But now I'm like, if there's a meeting about that, I'm like, no, you take it. And if there's a meeting about something else, I'll take it. So it's like we very much have separate roles, even though we're in the same like ecosystem and environment. It's very, very different what we do and who we speak to and how we spend our days.
And I think like the last thing, it's not like a relationship, but more just having like a male and female inside like the top of any company, I think is like key. I think just like, you know when you walk into a room and you need like feminine energy, or you need a female to lead it, and you know when you need a male to lead it, there's just those points where you go into a room and be like we've gone into a room to pitch something, just like she knows that she needs to lead this, and like maybe it needs like way the conversation's going to this investor, she's talking about being a mom, like this is maybe like your turn to lean in, like, and then sometimes you need an investor where you need to be aggressive, and like it needs like he needs to know that there's just points, and it's so interesting. We're just like, I know if you weren't in the room, that wouldn't have succeeded,
so
and likewise the other way.
By being in the room together.
Yeah, just because it's so much easier to control. Like, I know I would have lost so many more pitches if Nicola wasn't there, just because she's controlled it differently, and I would have took that differently. Like the way we'll go for a meeting, she'll be like, she actually meant it like this, not like that. And I was like, oh, I didn't see it. And she was just like, yeah, because it's from a female perspective. She's actually not saying it like that. I was like, I would have took that so wrong, and I probably would have just said, you know what, like now.
That analysis after every pitch, after every meeting, between the two of you, must be so, like, just to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. It's so interesting, because it's like when you walk into a pitch or like any conversation, right? It's always you in your own head trying to like pick apart. Okay, how did this work? Did this go well? Did that go well? But you almost stack the deck in your favor by both of you being in the room and like having this 10-year compounded relationship. Of, I know how you think.
We're very honest as well, like very honest with each other. Like even our lead investor, he said, you two should never not pitch the business separately. Like you should never do it
together.
Yeah, he's just like, because you finish each other's sentences, and also they can understand like where, like I know my weakness where it is, and she knows hers. Like you're a little bit, I've got a soft touch, I've probably got a harder touch.
Yeah, I'm probably too nice.
Together it works so well. Like even our team just like know sometimes who to ask for certain things.
They're like, who am I going to get a better response from?
I want something done. Who do I ask today?
Yeah, and it's just like they understand it, and it just makes like, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky to have each other, I think.
Yeah. I think relationships with co-founders that have relationships, it's just like a super team. If you can get it right, and you understand each other well, you increase the surface area of luck, because it's someone you trust entirely, someone that you know the weaknesses of and the strengths, and you can play into those strengths more. And then it's the time together, right? It's like 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Yeah. You can just get stuff done faster than anyone else.
It's just like, I've seen some of my friends as well, it's like one's a founder, one where it's like his partner will work in a job, and they kind of fight for their stress levels. So he'll come in and be like, I've had a stressful day. She's like, well, I've had a stressful day. And they're like, kind of compete. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Compete against stress.
Because they're just like, look, like, I'm working on the business. Well, like, I have a 9 to 5. Like, they just like... Clash. Where we're just like you said,
we go through the same things most
we're
of
working
the time.
at like 10:30, 11:30 at night, midnight sometimes. We just like looked over each other and just like, have we eaten? Like, I was like, no. And we're like, oh my God. We're just like laughing, like this is just like, I couldn't do that next stuff on a 9 to 5. It's just like can you, like, we need to spend some time together. And we do, like we do have some time off. But
I think when we have time off, we're very like, let's get out of the house, go for a walk, go for dinner, go for coffee, whatever it is. Because I don't know if you find this, now we work from home so much, when you're at home you feel like you have to be working. Like I'm watching TV, I feel guilty. In my head I'm like, I should do this, I should do that. Or I'm like, no, I do need to chill. But to actually take time together is very difficult to do at home. So like, let's actually go out and have like a day in London, or do something to take us away from the business, because otherwise you're like, I'm just going to go do this, I'm just going to go do that, and then you're there, and once you're on one email you're 10 down, and then it's an hour's gone. So we're very like productive of how do we spend the best time together outside of the business, and that's by getting out and doing things.
I love it. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for doing it together. I'm surprised no one else has got you both on together in a long time.
We had our first one last week, actually.
Was it?
This one,
Second one.
So I think it's going to be a bit of a trend now.
I like it. I think it's a good duo. You know how to play to each other's strengths. This has been a pleasure. An absolute masterclass in building one of the most viral apps that I've seen in a long time, but also something that is so deeply connected to people. Thank you.